If we are the creators of our lives, why would we ever choose experiences that include pain, loss, or suffering? It's a question that rises quietly in moments of hardship, when the idea of growth feels thin against the weight of what hurts. One night, sitting beneath a sky full of stars, an old man spoke to that question, not from theory, but from a much larger view of what it means to be alive. The fire crackled softly as the night deepened. The circle of faces around it lit in amber and gold. Above them, the sky stretched vast and dark, scattered with 1,000 quiet stars. The old man stirred the embers with a stick, sending up a small cloud of sparks that drifted like fireflies before fading into the night. "Let me tell you something," he said, his voice low and calm, like a river that had seen many shores. "People often say they want to create a better life. And then, when suffering comes, they whisper, 'Why would I ever create this?'" A young woman across the fire frowned, her arms wrapped around her knees. "That's exactly it," she said. "If I'm the creator of my life, why would I make pain part of it?" The old man nodded, as though he'd heard the question 1,000 times before. "Because creation itself is joy," he said simply. "Even the hard parts." He leaned back, the firelight flickering across the lines of his face. A child doesn't build a sandcastle just to keep it forever. He builds it because he loves to feel the sand between his fingers. He laughs when the tide takes it, then starts again. Life is like that, an endless urge to shape, to express, to feel what it is to be alive. The group fell quiet. A log shifted in the fire, hissing as it burned. "The trouble," the old man went on, "is that the brain doesn't see the whole canvas. It looks at pain and says, 'This shouldn't be here.' It doesn't know that beyond its little fence of fear, something much larger is painting the picture. The brain's only job is to keep you breathing. It guards the gates, thinking death is the end, not knowing it's just another doorway." He looked up at the stars as if remembering something far away. "But there's another part of you, the one that watches quietly even when your world breaks apart. You've felt it, haven't you? That calm voice in the middle of chaos that says, 'This too belongs.' That's your true self. The part of you that doesn't flinch." A boy beside him poked the fire with a stick. "So when we die, what happens to that part?" The old man smiled gently. "It widens, like a river meeting the sea. You look back at the life you've lived, the joys and the heartbreaks, and you see how every wave pushed you closer to understanding. And then," he shrugged lightly, "you choose again. Another shore, another tide, not as punishment, but as curiosity. Because life, my friend, is very curious about itself." The air was still except for the hum of crickets. Someone exhaled slowly, the sound of acceptance, or maybe wonder. "Everything is energy," he said, tracing a circle in the dirt. "And energy doesn't end. It only changes shape. We call it evolution, the universe learning its own joy through all of us. Even the darkest chapters belong to that learning." He gazed around the circle, meeting each listener's eyes in turn. "You see, life isn't meant to be escaped. It's meant to be enjoyed. Not the shallow pleasure that fades with circumstance, but the deep satisfaction of knowing who you really are, the current beneath the current. When you live from that place, fear loosens its hold. You stop clinging. You begin to trust the tide." The old man tossed another twig into the flames. It flared bright, then settled into a steady glow. "Every experience," he said softly, "is love in disguise. Love learning to remember itself. Even this moment, right here under the stars." The circle sat in silence. The fire crackled. Somewhere in the darkness, a night bird called once and was still again. And for a while, no one spoke, as if the whole forest, too, were listening to the truth beneath the words.